Hello and welcome to Crypto News. Today is February 5th, 2025, and the top news in crypto is as follows. Now, let's move on to our headlines, starting with El Salvador. The country has purchased Bitcoin, worth $1.1 billion. At this point, El Salvador's strategy is to buy 1 Bitcoin per day. However, seeing the recent lows, they decided to buy in bulk, as you can see. Since we don't know if we'll see these lows again, they took the opportunity to accumulate. By the end of this episode, we'll discuss whether we might see similar lows soon. Moving on from El Salvador, we turn to the US, where American jurist Mr. Bill Hagerty has presented a bill for stablecoins. This proposed legislation would establish a regulatory framework for stablecoins, bringing major stablecoins such as Tether and USDC under the jurisdiction of the Federal Reserve. The bill specifically applies to stablecoins with a market capitalization exceeding $10 billion, enforcing compliance with US financial regulations. If this bill passes, it could significantly impact the industry. From this proposed legislation, we now shift to Eric Trump, Donald Trump's son. In a personal statement on X, he expressed his opinion that this is a great time to buy Ethereum. In addition to Eric Trump's statement, another Ethereum-related topic has surfaced on X. If you look closely at the post, you will notice that the description includes .eth in its description. This brings us to Mr. William, an American congressman who incorporated a domain name with .eth into his description, demonstrating his familiarity with the technology that enables financial sovereignty. If you read the article, you'll learn more about for himself. With all this Ethereum-related buzz in the past few hours, it's worth noting that Ethereum reached nearly $2,900, but failed to break past that level, because Bitcoin hasn't shown much bullish momentum, and we'll discuss why at the end of this episode. Lastly, for our final piece of news from the US, let's talk about Donald Trump's crypto Khazar. In his latest statements, he emphasized that Bitcoin reserve and stablecoin legislation are top priorities for the administration. He also described this period as a golden age for digital assets. His full statement is in the description for you to check out, though he didn't provide further details. Nonetheless, this is theoretically positive news for the crypto industry. From the political scene in America, we now turn to corporate news, starting with Semler Scientific. The company has purchased 871 Bitcoin for $88.5 million, signaling continued institutional interest in digital assets. Up to now, it has at its disposal 3,192 Bitcoin, whatever MicroStrategy does. But apart from this company, we will go to Sol Strategies, which is an investment company. It just buys in Solana. We learned that it increased its participation in Solana and has now bought a total of 190,000 SOL. Meanwhile, another company that buys something even more degenerate is Neptune Digital Assets, a company focused on investing in crypto. We learned that it bought 1 million Doge for $258,000. It does exactly what MicroStrategy does, but it invests in Dogecoin instead of Bitcoin. Moving on from different companies choosing different investments, we now turn to exchange-related news and head to Coinbase. Coinbase revealed 2 altcoins with a very high chance of being listed on their exchange in the near future. Naturally, these 2 coins surged by more than 30%. They are Bitinsert TAO and Ether.fi. As mentioned, their listing on Coinbase is not guaranteed, but the chances are very high. For the last news of the day, we turn to XRP Ledger, which unexpectedly stopped its blockchain operations. XRP Ledger halted block production for about an hour on the 3rd before restarting automatically without any clear explanation. This marked a brief pause for one of the oldest crypto networks. The reason for the halt remains unclear. Suddenly, on the 3rd, the network stopped producing blocks for an hour before resuming operations on its own. At the time of recording this video, XRP Ledger's engineers are still unsure what caused the interruption. The network ceased functioning and then restarted without them having time to intervene. Now, for the final update of the day, let's take a look at the crypto market. Bitcoin is currently standing at $98,000 without making any rebounds. It remains at resistance so far. At this point, it's worth noting that Bitcoin's mood today is being affected by China. While the US has, for now, halted tariffs with Canada and Mexico, tariffs with China are ongoing. At this moment, China is also planning countermeasures against the US. Specifically, Beijing will impose a 15% tax on imports of carbon and hydrogen, along with a 10% tax on oil and agricultural equipment from the US, with immediate effect. This is why both the crypto and traditional markets are not in high spirits today. That wraps up the top news for crypto today is February 5th, 2025. I'd like to remind you that the content you just watched is created for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, but rather as investment opinion. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and feel free to comment. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.